Hello, Big Reds. This is Mr. Official talking. So let's continue. We're on part 3 of the review video. We want to figure out the tangent of 315. So tangent is going to on the unit circle. So tangent is y over x. So we're going to look at 315 on the unit circle. You can see. All right. Y over x. So it's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2 over square root of 2 over 2. So basically, when you have the same thing on top and bottom, that reduces to 1. We have one negative in front, so it reduces to a negative 1. That would be your answer. Okay? Now, if they were both negative, it would reduce to a positive 1. If one negative reduces to a negative 1. All right? All right, next question. Solve for x round to 3 decimal places. So what I'm going to do is use Pythagorean theorem. 20 is in the C position, so I take x squared plus 14 squared equals 20 squared. And it says I got to leave it in decimal form. Well, I know 14 squared is 196, 20 squared is 400. Subtract 196 from each side. I'm left with x squared equals 204. Let's see. So I take the square root of that. Square root of 204 on our calculators is about, let's see, it's 14.2828. So if I run to 3 decimal places, I look at 1, 2, 3. I look at the spot after that. Is that 5 or higher? If it is, I round this one up. If it's not, I keep it the same. So this is going to be 14.283 would be your answer. Okay. All right, next one. This is a 2-part problem. They're going to put in a new street. This is Whitehall Road. This is Giles. This is 2 miles here. This is 6 miles this way. So we want to figure out this new street, the length of the new street first. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. And when I do that, I'm going to take 6 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared. So we get 36 plus 4 equals c squared, which is 40 equals c squared. Take square root, and let's see, we get square root of 40 is about 6.3. All right, that is in miles. So let's round to the nearest tenth. Now we're going to take this number, and each mile is 5,280 feet. So we're going to take 6.3 times 5,280 to figure out how many feet we have. So I'll do that. 6.3 times 5,280, and I get 33,264 feet. Well, it costs $150 per foot, so I have to multiply this by 150 bucks. Adding up quick, isn't it? Roads are not cheap. And it's going to give us 498,900. Whoa, hold on. Never mind. That's a donut point for people listening. That's going to be $4,989,600. That is a lot of money, but that's how much it costs. All right, going on. Okay, now we got a problem. Solve it and put answer in simplest radical form. So we're going to take 5 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared, because right angle points to the hypotenuse, so we do not know the hypotenuse. So we have 25 plus 100 equals c squared, or 125 equals c squared. Take the square root. We want to factor out the biggest perfect square number we can, which is 25 times 5 is going to give us 125. The square root of 25, sorry, is 5. So your answer is going to be 5 square root of 5. Don't forget to take that square root of that perfect square number. All right, what's going on? So here is the next question. What does the Pythagorean theorem say? Well, we use a lot of a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but here we have different letters. Well, you know, the hypotenuse is the one that's by itself, so it's going to be m squared plus n squared equals p squared. Hypotenuse has got to be by itself. Very important. Okay. All right, now let's solve this. Put the answer as a decimal. So again, here we have 12.1 squared plus x squared equals 15.3 squared. Okay, notice the hypotenuse is by itself. So I have to figure that out. 12.1 squared is going to be 146.4, it's the nearest tenth. And 15.3 squared is going to be 234.1, it's the nearest tenth. Now since they're on different sides, I have to subtract. Subtract 146.4. Let me do that. So 234.1 subtract 146.4, and that gives me 87.7 approximately. I should put approximately here. Take the square root, and I get my answer for x is approximate to nearest tenth, 9.4 feet. That's your answer for that one. All right. Next one, we have an equilateral triangle whose side length is 12. What is the length of its altitude? Altitude is just the height of the triangle. That's just a fancy word to say it. It's a height of a triangle is the altitude. And for an equilateral triangle, it's going to cut the base in half. So if that means this whole length is 12, this is going to be 6. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. Again, the hypotenuse is 12, so x squared plus 6 squared equals 12 squared. So we get 36 here, 144 here. Subtract 36 from both sides, we get x squared equals, if I subtract that, let's see, 144 minus 36 is 108. And I take the square root here. I try to factor out the biggest perfect square number. Let's see, I think it is 36. So 36 times 3 is 108, so this is going to be 6 times the square root of 3 would be your answer. Okay. All right, going on to this one. If we want to solve for x to the nearest degree, we had one similar to this earlier, but not the exact same. So from here, label our sides. This is the hypotenuse. This is the opposite. We have an O and an H, so we use so, ka, toa. O and an H would be sine. Now we don't know the angle, so it's going to be inverse sine. So inverse sine of O over H, 6O divided by 8. Make sure you're in degree mode, and make sure the order matters. So I take the inverse sine of 6 divided by 8, and I get about approximately 48.6 degrees. Okay. All right, going on. We have missing angle measures. You know what? This is where I'm going to stop for the next video here.